Hey, go getters. How are you? If you are, I feel like I need to say, like, come on in the room. Hey, go getters. So, yeah, if you are here with me live, I want to say definitely a hello. How was your day? How are you feeling? If you're, maybe still adjusting to the time, how's your body feeling this week? Tonight, we're going to actually get into a topic that I wanted to hop on and talk about because I felt that I've been hearing it and experiencing a lot when I speak one on one with a lot of clients or just different business owners. And so I wanted to take this time to hop on tonight because I've been thinking of this thing that actually comes up where we feel like if you basically if you're creating content or marketing that you need to be in all the places and you need to be doing all the things, and a lot of business owners feel this pressure to need to show up online more, especially as we're in this AI era and feeling like everything is happening so fast. There's this feeling of post more content, be more consistent, be in more places. And for a long time, I actually thought that was the solution too. Hi, Real Cat Coy. Oh, Real Cat Coley. Oh, hey, girl, how are you? Awesome. Yeah, so there was this notion that I needed to do all of those things, but in reality, those things don't necessarily match what your bank account is saying. So, um, there's this feeling also that if my marketing felt inconsistent, I assumed that the answer was simple, that I just needed to post more. But over time, I realized that posting more content doesn't actually fix the real issue. And I'm going to dive into my personal journey and story with that, and even something that I'm wrestling with to this day. But I want to actually start off more with the problem that most business owners think they have. So when we get to talking about um, that, I want to pause actually a minute and say, if you're here with me live, definitely feel free to go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. So we are actually live streaming. I should say because it's no one else on here behind the camera with me. So I'm actually live streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram at this time. And actually, I think I added Facebook tonight. If you were on with me at the end of February when I did the live stream series, I actually went ahead and when we were streaming at that particular time, I was using Riverside. I felt like a prodigal child. I shimmied my way back over to Ecamm, which is another live streaming platform. So let me know if you're here with me live. If you're watching this on the replay, definitely feel free to say hello. And if we're going along to the session and you feel like you have a question, a comment, or something you want me to circle back on, you could definitely leave a comment and I will circle back and make sure that I engage. And so I want to make sure I'm respectful of everybody's time tonight. And so let's get into it. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the problem that most people, or I should say business owners, think they have. A lot of times there's, again, that talk about marketing, and you may even have heard in your own conversations, or you might have said this yourself, that I need to be more consistent. I need to show up more online, which I'm going to talk about that online piece in a minute. Or it could be that you said, "Oh, I need to post more." I have definitely said this. So this resonated with me in the fact of um just this shoulding on myself, that I should be posting more, I should be online more. But when I talk with business owners a little deeper, what they actually describe sounded more like they have the ideas, but they feel scattered. Maybe they have great insight during a client call. Like I do one on one consulting calls, and sometimes in those closed, like almost like girlfriend chats, or sometimes I do counsel men as well. But just in those kind of more private settings, you have insights or your lane of genius kind of highlights or lights up, I should say. Maybe while you're working with someone, maybe you're working on a current project, and what you're doing in it is just something that you want to share, or just general conversation about business. But by the time you actually sit down to create that content, the idea is gone. And so the next week starts, and then basically it feels like, again, you're shitting on yourself and feeling like, oh, I should have posted, I should have did this, and then you lost that momentum. So what we want to talk about tonight is I'm going to share a little bit about my scenario and my journey with that, and really when I felt like it was overwhelming, and how I kind of came to this realization, and now what I'm doing to move forward with that. So, when I experienced this, for a while, I felt like I wasn't showing up. It was more so last year. So, I'm a part of a video community, and we basically were reviewing what our metrics were for the previous year, what we've looking at what we've done. And I was like, I did nothing. I didn't do it. It's not that I didn't do anything, but what I had expected didn't come to fruition. And so what I tried to do was then like say to myself that I'm going to fix that by pushing myself to create more content. But something interesting happened when I actually slowed down. Instead of trying to create content all the time, I started to focus more, and maybe it's because of, I come from more of this like analytical brain space. But I started to focus more on capturing my ideas as they came during the day. And for me, I hate to even use that word because, everyone talks about game changer, and especially now in this realm of AI. But yeah, but basically it was a game changer for me. What came up was more of the insights that I was having from, like the client conversations, things I noticed while I was working. So I not only do one on one consulting, but I also facilitate workshops. I'm a trainer. And so it paused or caused me to pause and focus on questions people were asking. Then I worked backwards from that in creating this simple structure around those ideas. So I want to be honest, there's going to be moments because just even in my own scenario where, January started strong. I was publishing weekly YouTube videos, and it kind of died down because of life. But the reason I mentioned that is because when I actually did slow down and create that simple structure, even around capturing my ideas, what surprised me is that I'm not starting from scratch. Even if I fall off a little bit, I can always pick back up, like almost like nothing happened. So the surprise that actually came was that even in those moments where I was posting less, people began, I've had business owners or organizations that I work with basically feel like they were seeing me seeing me everywhere, and I was like, how could that be? I like started second guessing it, and in reality, that's when it really clicked for me. The issue wasn't the consistency. The issue for me was the structure. And as I sit back and I listen into the mentoring, advising sessions that I have with business owners, or even the workshops, this became the missing piece. So when your marketing starts to feel random, it's usually because there's no rhythm behind it. Maybe the ideas like stay inside of your head, maybe they're in scattered notes, or maybe they're in different tools. And let's face it, now, especially in this tool happy AI season, there could be inside of a chat. And so without that structure behind or rhythm, those ideas never turn into content. And dare I say consistently, but when I say consistency or consistently, that could be many different things for different people. So it's really, again, finding your rhythm for yourself and your business. So um, the idea, though, is that when that mental shift comes of having the rhythm or the structure, something changes. Your ideas start to get captured. You're getting more organized. And then you move through a simple process to actually execute on what you've captured and organized. And so the idea here is that the marketing now doesn't have to feel forced. It's coming from something that grows naturally from the work you're already doing. And especially now in this AI time frame, let's face it, everything kind of sounds generic, but nothing can replace the real life expertise that you are giving day to day in the work that you're doing. And so, with this realization, not only for myself, but also for clients, I started to actually think this would lead into a perfect workshop to host. And so next Tuesday, which is March 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be hosting a workshop called From Mental Clutter to Predictable Marketing. And the goal is really that simple, is to show you how you can turn your insights to the insights you already have into content without feeling like you're starting from scratch every week. And I will pause here just to make sure that I'm not missing anything in the chat. All right, so it looks like we are good on Instagram. Let me hop over into LinkedIn and just make sure I'm not missing any of the comments. Okay, perfect. So I'm good to go. All right. So yeah, if you're also watching this on the replay, you can feel free to go ahead and if you have any questions, you can also reach me over at Instagram. You could send me a message or on LinkedIn. And I can respond. This video will actually be, if you're on YouTube, it will be in the live section. If you are on LinkedIn, it should be under the events on my page, and you'll be able to watch the replay. If this is on Instagram, I'm gonna go ahead and reshare this live stream so that you're able to see the information, or capture something that could be beneficial to you, or if you need more understanding, pretty much. So back to the workshop. So with the workshop, uh, what you're going to walk away with is actually, and I'm going to actually head over to share my screen. I could share the page, which I'll also pin this at the bottom of the video. All right, so let me head over to my screen share. So if you are on Instagram, I gotta apologize. You're gonna be getting that kind of cut off view. But if you head over to YouTube or even on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see the full video or the full screen. So when I talk about the workshop, so it's from mental clutter to predictable marketing. I also want to go into the fact of whenever you are not marketing your business, and it's not totally just online. It could be that you are networking in person. It could be that you're a speaker. But and at the end of the day, if marketing for your business is scattered, then your revenue will be too. And so this is what the workshop will entail. It is going to be on Monday, Tuesday, March 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I mentioned earlier, what I've learned from conversations, one-on-one consulting, attending networking events, is typically that the struggle is not because of lack of ideas. It could be because you are, maybe saving uh, ideas in voice notes, maybe Google Docs, random notebooks. Now that we are inside of, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all that, maybe you're doing that inside of AI chats. Maybe you have drafts all over different, maybe text files and things of that nature. So, um, when that is actually inconsistent, here we go. Your revenue then becomes unpredictable. And so we're going to be walking through really how to organize those ideas so they don't disappear. We're going to be talking about how to organize or build out a simple marketing rhythm. So if this topic actually resonates with you, feel free to use the link that I will either paste below the video, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. Instagram, it will be in my bio as well. But basically, that is the gist of the workshop. So it's going to be a live session, and I'll be utilizing tools such as Notebook LM, Gemini, and showing some tips around helping that to organize your ideas and support you actually executing on your marketing. This is not going to be a full on technical AI training class. This is more focused on creating really, and this gives you an idea here where part one, we're going to be talking through or working through where the bottleneck is. Like, where is it that your ideas are scattered, or is it that you're stuck with too many tools and not knowing what steps are needed to actually get the content done? Or is it that the part two will get into some tools to help. I also use notes on my phone, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But then we'll get into how to organize that thinking, and then how to fill that gap, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to take action. So if you're not able to attend live, you could definitely watch the replay. The replay will be available for 90 days inside of your portal. And then if you have any questions, I did add a couple of frequently asked questions here. So you don't need to be an expert in AI tools. This is a beginner friendly, but we will have some areas that are a little advanced, but definitely here to hold your hand with that. And as I mentioned, the replay will be available 24 to 48 hours after the session. And you'll also have 90 days of access to review, go through the resources that are provided in the portal, and be able to implement. Hello, Miss Ann Perry Wallace. How are you doing? And yes, so there will be time for questions. And we'll also talk about the different support that will be offered for the program as well. Yes, so let me hop back over and I will get on camera here. Okay, perfect. So once we go through that particular workshop, the goal of it is that you want to really get out of this feeling that your marketing feels random. You want to feel like you don't want to feel like you're constantly starting from scratch. And I'd love to hear your experience. If you're watching this on the replay, if you're live with me now, feel free to go ahead and drop something in the chat, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. And if you catch the replay, same thing. Let me know in the comments. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about when I talked about capturing your ideas. So what I had to realize is that I had to separate where I captured ideas, where I went through the process of actually creating, whether it be the video, the carousel, and then the caption. And so I think sometimes too, the idea of marketing, it's just like, oh, I need to post this to Instagram or whatever. But we don't think about the little pieces that come with that as well, which is a part of your rhythm. And so we'll go through some of that. So with me, what I realized is prior to this year, I had a small team where they were literally, I was coming up with the ideas, giving them the strategy, and they would help with implementation of it. Where I lacked on that now is that I was rebuilding, I've downsized my team and I was rebuilding. And so I had to rethink how I did that. So for me, I had to think, okay, I capture my ideas. What is something that I'm using day to day, in and out, that I can use to capture that particular idea? Then what's the space that I'm using to then create? Maybe I need to, do a status of creating the graphic, recording the video. Maybe there's editing, um, and then there's publishing. And so then I had a space for that. And then there's also, I love, maybe it's because I'm a data girly, I love to be able to um, track how is this affecting not only the likes and the impressions and things like that, how is it affecting the bank account? Because at the end of the day, our revenue is super important, and the impact that it is having. And so if this resonates with you, I am going to leave the link inside of underneath the videos. And I want to thank you for spending a little time with me tonight. And as always, I'm cheering you on. Love y'all.